Yes, welcome back. Homosexuality is a romantic sexual attraction or sexual behavior between members of the same sex or gender. We know that. There is no doubt Nigeria is a highly religious country that upholds its religion and traditional values. And these values does not accept in any way, shape, or fashion homosexuality. Now, according to reports, homosexuality has become more prevalent around us, especially, wait for this, boarding schools, secondary schools especially. How do we identify homosexual tendencies amongst our children? And what can we do to curb it immediately? Joining us is our own, very own life coach, Mr. Praise Forward in the building.
Yeah. Good to be here.
Hi, Praise.
I've missed you, girl.
No, we missed you too. How's everything?
Good.
Good to have you back on the show.
Nice to be back.
Honestly, this
You're feeling relaxed. Anyways, just
yes, he's with his people.
in-house.
When you are big,
You're lying.
Yes. Praise.
Yes.
This homosexuality matter, honestly, is getting to everywhere you turn to, especially in boarding houses. Young boys, young girls, they know more about homosexuality now. Some of them, one has come to me, not that I hear you, came to me and said, I am a lesbian. She came to me. In fact, I felt she might have a bit of a crush on me, but I was still trying to, have a distance. But she believes, and she's a young girl, she believes she's a lesbian. Where did this demon come from?
Well, it's not a demon. In Nigeria, we think everything is demon. We think everything is a spirit. Homosexuality has been here forever. It's been, people, it's almost as if we're just suddenly aware. And why we're suddenly aware is because it's social media has made it globally. It's been here. If you study history, in ancient Greece, ancient Rome, it's always been here. Now, even when we were in school, it existed. We had seniors, I don't know if it happened in your school. You have a particular guy who would walk like a lady, walk like a woman, people even labeled a woman who seniors were interacting with. We had lesbianism here when we were in school, for all girls school, for in boarding houses for girls, all these things, but it was not pronounced, but now awareness is coming. People are now becoming more aware, and also never forget that if historically, when you just come out and with a straight-jacketed approach to say, we will not accept this will not work here, it has life just as any movement that you persecute has a way of growing, It's if you're a student of history, you will know that that's always the way, So it's not something that is new. The only challenge I'm having is the naivety of the school authorities, is the irresponsibility of, so I've handled some schools where a child was discovered with this tendency, and the child was expelled, and I'm asking, having paid ₦1 million school fees, shouldn't the school have a neuro-linguistic programming expert on duty as a counselor who should be able to run therapy? I mean, I work with gays, same-sex people. They break free. So I'm wondering, what kind of counselors do we have in schools where you will now expel a GSS 1 student, a GSS 2 student, and in some of these cases, actually, they were initiated. It's now their version of school father, school daughter, that we used to have, but now your school father is not just someone that guides you, it's someone that also sodomizes you.
Now, we are, for those of us who have done NLP, we know that the brain can't really interpret negative commands. So it's more of, if you say, don't do this, what the brain is getting is, do it.
Yes.
The opposite. Yeah. Now, with that kind of knowledge, we keep telling our young girls, oh, don't have a sexual relationship with another man, don't this, and they are wondering, and they get curious. Okay, why shouldn't I do that? Now, how do we reverse that instruction to our young people?
Now you are talking because you are learned. An average person doesn't know this. Yeah. Now, you see, the way your mind works, you have the subconscious mind and you have the conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the driver of your life. Unfortunately, your subconscious mind is a slave. It doesn't understand right or wrong. It only recognizes action word. So, for example, you say to yourself, I don't want to get angry. That's what a person would say. Today, I will not be angry. You make confession. Now, the action word is what your subconscious mind picks. And once your subconscious mind picks the action word, the atmosphere goes into an overdrive to make it your reality. So have you not noticed that the day you say, I won't get angry, it's almost as if all else, because what you have activated is anger. So if you say, I don't want to be poor, you know, what you have activated is poverty. Life will guarantee, I don't want to be cheated. Life will guarantee that cheats come around you. Now, so that's away from motivation. Why don't we change it to towards motivation? We want to raise credible children. I want to be happy. I want to be, you know, positive. You know, once you do that, your subconscious mind also activates and makes that your reality. You know,
I am rich.
sort of.
I am calm today.
Yeah, I'm calm today.
I'm straight.
Yeah. The desired state you want is what you need to begin with. Now, having said that, you see, you suddenly find out that Nigeria says, this thing is outlawed in Nigeria. You know, is outlawed, right? Now, unknown to us, I believe, because if I look at the number of gays I interact with, who show up in my office to say, praise, I need help. I believe Nigeria have more same-sex population than America. America only has, I'm almost certain right now, because there's a concept called for Karama in a lot of schools. For Karama is your child resumes school as a GSS wants to do in a boarding house. You know, they do like a welcome party, and that welcome party is actually a sex orgy where the senior students to the mic. So I asked the junior boy to say, why didn't you talk about it? He said, if you talk in my school, you are dead. Now, parents don't know about it, schools don't know about it, and it's happening in a lot of Christian schools as well, you know, and some form of because an average school in Nigeria, don't forget, we don't have a child protection system. And parents, I worry, you take your child to a school, you are not asking, what is the child protection system of this school? As a matter of fact, an average school in Nigeria doesn't have a vision. And how you know they don't have a vision is this. They have a statement on the wall pasted, but how you know a school doesn't have a vision is when you ask the driver, what's the vision of the school? When you ask the cleaners what the vision of the school is, if they can't tell you, the school has no vision, because vision should determine your structure. Structure now determines, with structure, you now have child protection system, which the parents should sign to. Now, an average school in civilized country, before your school ever opens up, you must show us your child protection system, which parents, you know, should read, sign to, so that it states the responsibility of the school.
Let's come to homosexuality itself now, because I want to let me let Uwa come in here.
Homosexuality, you know, because I have an experience, and I also believe that for me, probably what helped me was the fact that I was born and bred like in a Christian home. Whether we like it or not, there's still a power of prayer for the children and introducing your children early to what is right. You know, actually from principles, if you're a Christian, principles of the Bible. Because you see this homosexuality thing you're talking about, yes, it's been on for a while. I remember growing up, between primary 1 and probably primary 3, if I look back now, I think I was somewhat introduced into the act of lesbianism. Do you understand? Because, come, let's do a drama. You will be the father, I will be the mother. She's a girl, I'm a girl. You know, we now start, you know, kiss. You now do father-mother kiss, you now do father-mother touch, father-mother hug and all that. That was what was going on until I started getting older. And I think by year 5, year 6 in primary school, I'd already understood, you know, my Bible to some point to understand that even kissing, I didn't know that it was lesbianism. I just understood that kissing somebody else was a sin. Okay. So that was what, you know, helped, you know. So I'm saying that for parents now of today that are busy, you know, my own parents, they were very busy, yes. But you see, the principles that they introduced, you know, to us helped. Some other person hasn't come out of this thing. They still see a woman and they are still feeling
I'll respond to that. And I'll shake a case that I handled. A girl from a Christian home like you went to school, boarding house, GSS 1. Now, they were watching a movie in school. Now, the first question I asked, where were the house mistresses? Because for children to watch movie on, cable television, an adult needs to be on ground. Now, there was no adult on duty, so the senior students picked the remote, changed the station into a movie station. Now, this movie station was showing same-sex movie. Now, this Christian girl saw it, you know, and was like, what's this? Now, spoke to a friend and said, let us practice what we saw. Kissed a friend. Nobody saw them. They were not caught. Now, she felt, based on the background she had, that something was wrong here. Now, she said to her friend, we have sinned. Let us go to chapel and go and pray and confess our sin. They went to chapel to go and confess their sin by themselves. Nobody saw them. Then this girl said, I heard about restitution in church. Let's go and tell an adult what we have done so that God can fully forgive us. Went to tell the house mistress. The house mistress told the school authority. Then school calls the parents to say, take your child is gay, we expel your child from school.
Let me pause on that because we need to take that in. That's a lot of information. Stay with us, we'll be right back. We need to read it.
Hi.
Welcome.
I am Dapper.
Welcome back. Right. So we heard about this example of this child now. What do you make of this, Jumoke?
I'm in shock. I'm still in shock. You know, I've heard of, and I've seen it in secondary school. My secondary school was mixed, but we had a few classes that didn't have men, that didn't have boys, you know. And I agree with Uwa that, you know, your religious background. But then again, what can we do? For instance, this girl knew that she was doing something wrong based on her religious background.
Yeah.
What can we do as parents, first and foremost,
To help our children.
help, ensure that they know, you know, that this is sin, you shouldn't do it, you shouldn't be involved in it. What can we also do as parents to make sure that when our children go to boarding houses, they're not, you know, sodomized?
Okay, now I'll first say that, can we even backtrack a bit and say, what is the reason, why do people have these tendencies? Because that will help us situate the problem. Now, in my work, I'll tell you that I've never met a gay person who had a fantastic relationship with his father. Never. Usually they have a problem with their fathers. Now, and most of the people I've met were boys who were molested by some adult in their lives. Now, so when an adult molests a boy, the boy develops a tendency for same-sex relationship, the same thing for a girl. Now, so it begins to grow, and you say, what these guys say they feel in their body is real. You are not in their body. So we just think it's the devil. You are, as in, because what that abuse does is it literally steals your identity. It reconfigures your body system that you opposite sex begin to repel you. You begin to have feelings for same sex. Now, meanwhile, we also have people who were born as hermaphrodites who have half male, half female, you know, and these are hormonal issues that can be readdressed. Now, in not understanding people, what we now say, we label them immediately. And please, let's also say this because a lot of parents are worried. Now, most times, children that you call stubborn are not stubborn children. The closest word in your internal mind that looks like the behavior you are saying is what you call. So you see an inquisitive child, we call them stubborn in school. You see a child that is non-conformist, they say is troublesome in school. And you as a parent, you get worried. And for example, my daughter came home one day and they wrote in a report card, 3-year-old, that she's distracted and not focused. So I went back to school to ask the teacher, when you were 3, were you focused? Were you focused?
Please take this cover, fella.
These are things that worry parents. So you see a child, for example, you know, kissing another child, based on a movie he had seen or he had just seen something, you know.
He's being inquisitive.
Immediately you slap the label.
Good morning, fella. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good morning. Go ahead, please. Yes.
Good morning to all the ladies in the studio.
Good morning.
Please don't mind my voice.
It's okay.
Yeah. You see, I just want to correct your guest over there. You see, anything that is ungodly, you see, there's a demon behind it that is influencing it. As a deliverance minister, I understand these things very well. Sure, you understand? There's a spirit that is behind lesbianism and homosexuality. That is my contribution.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, this is personal, very, very personal, that I'm almost feeling I shouldn't share. I have 2 boys. One of my son actually happens to be very clingy towards, right from when they were small. One moved to his father and one moved to me. At every point in time, one is always to his father, one is always to me. Now, the one that is really close to me happens to like tying scarf, putting on cap, and they'll be like, it looks really pretty. Like he's pretty. I have a picture of him when he was like 1.5, and I tied a scarf on his head, and people thought he was a girl. You know, so I get this feeling like he likes too many girly things. I'm a makeup artist. I have powder brushes everywhere. He knows powder brushes. As in, my boy is just 3.5, and he knows he puts the powder where powder brush should be. Puts eyeshadow, and I get worried that am I excessively
Exposing?
Am I thinking based on, because I've done NLP, so I'm able to rationalize that maybe I've been fed too much in the media about homosexuality that I'm beginning to see what isn't there.
Judgment.
So I try not to, and my husband notices it too. As everybody around, Daniel is too, Daniel likes
Girly
he
things.
watches Sophia the first, you know, and David is miles from tomorrow. So for me, I'm like, why would Daniel prefer a feminine cartoon and the other, and they are twins and they're identical.
Yeah.
It's just that Daniel has a more feminine face than David. So it is a personal thing that I'm going through every day, and I look, when I every day.
Okay, in that kind of situation,
I don't know what to do.
Now, in that kind of situation, you must also understand that we always say this all the time, that nothing means anything except the meaning we've attached to it.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, is the child showing tendency of a beautician in the future? Is your child showing tendency of someone who is going to make clothes for women? Is it showing signs of, because now you are saying something else that's totally different. Now, think about it. If you never had any knowledge of gay, of same sex, you would not think this way, you know. But because you have been bombarded with a lot of things, you are saying, and you are overly worried about what you shouldn't worry about.
Praise. A lot of male beauticians are gay.
Yes, so that's
I'll tell you.
Hey, Jumoke,
I'll tell now. Wait. What do we call gay? Really? What do we call gay? What makes someone gay? What makes someone gay? What makes someone gay basically is the action. Okay, and that's where I have a problem when people just slap. Now, in the model of the world, they're right to say it's the spirit behind it, you know, but it's a behavioral problem. You know, some of them is a hormonal problem, you know, but in this part of the world, the only way out of a problem, even when it's behavioral, is prayer. Okay. And, you know, and it's a problem. So when you have such a situation, you know, what you now need to do, that's why where your husband needs to come in, you know, so your husband now intentionally needs to begin to balance,
to do manly things.
Balance things for him. To say, oh, children, I want to play football. It's not
Let's go
going
and play.
I want to play football with you guys.
Let me take this call.
You know, yeah.
Duro, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Good morning. Please go ahead.
This topic is
Good morning.
Morning.
Moyo, let me just tell you this straight. We're talking about the children. Let's talk about the adults. They've equally raised the bar right now, just as we speak. You find ladies booking hotels, staying together in hotels, and you wonder, why should the hotel management be allowed to have two ladies in a room? It applies to men too. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there must be this interface, legislation perhaps, NGOs coming together, awareness being created right, left, and center. Well, it's worrisome.
Okay, may I correct you quickly? May I correct? Because he was saying that why should hotel management allow two women to stay in a hotel room? I think that, and he said we're talking about adults, we should talk about children. We're talking about children, we should talk about adults. It starts from childhood. What I noticed is, because our parents in those days would say, if they see you with the opposite sex, you know, because of pregnancy, teenage pregnancy and everything, they are shouting. Girls would rather bring home girls. Their mothers will not raise. And meanwhile, they are sexual partners.
Absolutely.
You know, because at 30.
Oh,
okay, sorry.
No, I just wanted to correct what your husband will balance it.
Your husband has.
I have another question for you. I'll come to your husband will balance it. Finish.
Okay.
Now, when I was growing up, my stepmom would give us, when we have headache, she gave us vodka. No, I don't want to use the like a brandy. Like, drink it, you'll be all right. And she will expose us to alcohol very early. When I come home to my own mom was like, please don't be taking alcohol. But my stepmother kind of exposed us to alcohol. And her reason was that she wanted us to be comfortable with alcohol so when we go outside,
nobody can
intimidate you, and you can say, you know what, I don't want this, or you know, you can choose. When I grew up, I had that phase of where I was all in. I wasn't an alcoholic, but I was taking alcohol. But it got to a point where I decided to stop because it wasn't so foreign. Now, using that same format, if it worked, where we expose these children to what homosexuality is. We say, you know, we don't make it as a hush, hush, don't talk about it. Oh, that's the thing.
As a matter of fact,
we make it
last holiday, long vacation, I called children in my estate and I taught them practically about same sex. Because a lot of them were going to travel abroad.
Where was that? You didn't call me?
You know, we recorded it so I can give you the video so that you can play for your children. Because they were taking me up, they were asking me all kinds of questions, and I was preparing them for the outside world. Because what we do is, you know, I have a problem when we just say, you know, these guys are going to hell. If you see these guys, when they come to my office, if you see some of them are infected with HIV, a whole lot of them. Some of them, if they break down in front of you to say, can you just take this thing away from me? Wow. We think they are wicked. We think they love to do what they are doing. So we don't even understand the scripture when Apostle Paul was saying, the things I don't want to do are the things I do. We can't situate that what Apostle Paul was saying.
Let me take Adewale very quickly, praise. Adewale, are you there?
Good morning, Morales.
Good morning, please go ahead.
Praise.
Yes, sir.
God bless you this morning.
Amen.
Amen.
I think we need our parents to let our children know what is happening in our society. If we don't let our children know what is happening in this society, that is the kind of situation we find ourselves. I want to share an experience with you. About 3 months ago, a parent discussed something with me. All this lesbians and homosexuality has been happening for a long time. But we refuse to discuss about it.
Yes.
And another thing happened in this boarding school now, hard drugs.
Yeah.
It happens every day, every
That's
day.
another topic.
That is a parent who discussed the issue with me. He said his boy come back from holiday and he bought a powder back to his home. Unfortunately, the boy is a very smart guy. He didn't use what they given in the school. He reported to our mother that, mother, this is what a friend of mine gives to me that if I wanted to be reading very well, no book ever, I can be able to use this. And he gave the parents. The parents took it to his laboratory. They discovered that it's a cocaine. And that's what is happening in our boarding school society now. I think parents need to let their children know what is happening in our society. If you refuse to let your children know what is happening in society, you are doomed. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you.
How can a parent help?
We live in deception right now in this
Absolutely.
world. We are living in deception.
Absolutely.
I just realized this. Now, a friend of, I was in the salon and she's like a good customer of mine. She was telling me that her son was going out to go and get fuel. And this man is always trying to be nice in the neighborhood. He tries to be nice and only to boys. Only for the boy, innocently entered the car. And they drove and he came back. She was worried that, how come if he takes Okada, in 10 minutes he should be back from getting fuel. Only for the man, he collected the son's number and later started, like the next day, started sending him I love you messages, and all that. This is a matured man.
Oh, yeah.
Her boy he just finished secondary school. So now, what is the role? Because it is because this boy is close to his mother, he's close to his parents, that the mother could detect that something was going wrong with that conversation. So how do I now start explaining? Because I can't explain to my son.
Now, you see, basically, we always say that parents need to take their children on sexuality education. Now, part of sexuality education is actually making your children be comfortable in their gender. A whole lot of children are not. If you ask an average girl, a teenager in Nigeria, they'll tell you, I want to do breast implant, I want to do this, they are not comfortable in their body system. They are not, they don't like the way they feel, they don't like the way they are. Now, and it's parents that should do that. But where you have parents who are still battling with low self-esteem, how do you give an esteem to your child? Now, so you see parents all the time, they run to me, they say, please come and help me talk to my child. And I'm wondering, what am I going to say to your child that you can't say to your child? That is failure on your part. So if you don't create mommy, daddy, children, time in your home, if you don't, and you see, most of the times we have not created the atmosphere where our children can be honest with us. Now, when you don't create that atmosphere, you are in trouble. Atmosphere where...
Pause. Let me take Morgan. Morgan, are you there?
You should be swallowing this information slowly.
Morning, Morgan. Please go ahead. Very quickly.
Please, I really need to thank Praise for what he has said today. Many times I have tried to even explain to people that you can't castigate these people. They don't have control over most of the things that they do. I have a personal experience with lesbians a lot because for my looks, I have natural hair. There are some times that I even dress up and it's all African and all that. And then you see people come to you. And then I had a personal experience with someone who came and said, see, I really like you and I want us to be together. And this girl was someone that I admired as a person before. I really wanted her to be a friend. But when she came to me with this, I had to sit back and I looked at it and I was like, my God. I knew she had a boyfriend. I knew she liked her mother. But this was something she could not control. See, it has nothing to do with demons. It has nothing to do with spirits. this thing is real. And if we keep pushing it back, if we keep telling ourselves that this is demonic, this is this, the African mentality just really makes us look very silly sometimes.
All right,
thank
you so much. I'll take a quick commercial break, but I want praise when we come back. It's 14 years in Nigeria. Does that solve the problem? No. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. We are getting some serious information in this studio that I wish you could give, but I was saying that we are now, from our discussions, the callers have called that this homosexuality thing is real. Children are experiencing it, adults are experiencing it, but our constitution, our law says it is 14 years. Does that eradicate? Does that deter? Does that stop it?
The lawmakers, can they, if they are without sin, if none of them is, if none of them is without this thing that we're talking about, let them cast the stone. That's the first question I'm going to ask them. You know, because the way we try to solve problems in this part of the world is amazing. We don't research, we don't do a whole lot of things, because let's be real in here. The first gay case I handled in this country, way back, over 9 years ago, was a guy who, at 4, the houseboy began to sodomize him for 4 years. Now, the father sent the houseboy away. The new one they sent sodomized him. He went to school all his life, senior sodomized him. This boy found himself in church, and he asked me, said, "Praise, how do they know that I'm even having this tendency?" The assistant pastor started sleeping with him. Now, this boy felt very bad. And he felt, okay, who can take this pain away from me? Went to confide in the pastor. That, pastor, this is me. He didn't tell the pastor, the people sleeping with him, that this is me. Now, this boy did not come for midweek service, but the topic for midweek service was homosexual and end time. His name was mentioned. It was excommunicated in his absence. He came to church on Sunday. People were avoiding him. And he went headlong to say, "Praise, I don't care anymore." He had become suicidal. Now, when I met him, he told me, he said, "Praise, I'm not sure you can help me. Forget it. There's no..." And trust me, no therapy worked on this guy, except when I chose to intentionally begin to love him. So I will go everywhere with him, sit with him. You just make sure that someone cared
and you were not having any sexual affair with him.
At all. So people don't understand a whole lot of things. They don't understand what these people go through. So when you just say, now the hypocrisy of our laws is now, when the son of a senator is now found in this situation,
what happens?
Do we sentence?
Hey, let me take this call. Akiwale, are you there? Jesus Christ.
Good morning.
Akiola, so I do apologize.
It's Abiola from Aja.
Oh, Abiola, sorry. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yeah, let's start from the law. There is law against any form of atrocity in the country. Has it stopped it? Has it stopped people from stealing? So law is not... I think the parents of this 21st century, the 21st century, has a lot of challenge. Our days is only berries and apple are fruits that we eat, not, food in their hands. So they have a lot of parenting. Your parents at the house, they have phones teaching them different things. And parents, we are more comfortable when you see your girl child bring home a friend, a girlfriend. They'll be at home, lock themselves in the room. You don't even know what they are doing, but you are comfortable because you feel it's not his girlfriend. You don't even go there to knock at the other that what they are doing.
Thank you. Let's take some tweets because we want to involve our Twitter.
Okay, Oyebanji Ruth says morning prayer is good and there are demons, but let's face reality when there are behavioral disorder in anyone. Desmond Adonis says problem of homosexuality in Nigeria stems from 3 parts: poverty, religion, and parental ineptitude. Absolutely. Religion is not doing much on it. Ijoma Okoli says they need Jesus. That's all. Stanley says good topic. I enjoyed it. And please, we need prayers in our country. Mahmoud Ashafa says a lot is happening. Just can't believe that everyone had a lot to share. May God save us. Etiremi says, has Praise ever seen a homosexual change to heterosexual? That's a question for you.
Absolutely.
Giwa says, and a father's actions can be critical in preventing his children from becoming homosexual. Nigeria IT jobs.
Homosexuality is a psychologist in nature. Wherever you notice it, just keep your distance, and parents should be aware, not shy away from it. Parents should guide and guard their children in the way of God. Mission schools may be preferable for their higher education. Right here.
All of them.
From Ima.
That's where the highest
Amojala
form of,
says we need
for
loads
karma
of
takes place.
education and counseling to go around this. If we keep hiding and blaming the devil, then we are living in denial.
Absolutely.
How do
I
we
have one
avoid
question.
this, because of this information now? How do we avoid paranoia? As a parent, I'll have to watch out for boy and girl. I have to watch out for girl and girl.
You don't really need to watch out.
And
You don't really watch out. That's where empowerment comes in. You see, you can't follow your children everywhere they go. But what's the quality and the depth of information you have deposited in them? That's why age-appropriate sexual education is very important. So my son goes to school and someone is slapping someone's bum and he's saying, why are you slapping this person's bum? And he says, I'm going to report you to the teacher. So when your children have become, educated properly on age-appropriate sexual education, the way we always recommend it, then it's not going to be a problem, because even when they find themselves abroad, because many of us, our children now go abroad for masters anyway, so they are going to find themselves. And you see, the hypocrisy for me is when the gay thing became, when America legalized it, many Nigerians say it's end time, but the same Nigerians are believing God for visa to go to the same America for holiday. They are believing God to relocate to Canada. Canada has passed the same law over 10, 15 years ago, and Canada is classified as the safest place to raise a family right now. So what do people talk about?
Pray solution, because
now,
we have 2
the
minutes.
The first thing I think we need to begin to do is what we call gay movement today is actually a reaction to how we treated them. We could have curtailed them, we could have handled them, we could have helped them, but we were not willing to even hear about it. We just say no. So they began to now gather themselves together to say, let us come out with a uniform agenda. And let me tell you, a minority with a uniform agenda will rule over a majority with no agenda. That's usually what happens. Now, so we need to now begin to educate children and say, okay, this is who you are, this is who you need to be, this is who you need. Then we also need to begin to educate them with children with the same tendency to say, see, when you notice this person, what you need to do is you can report to someone who can help. Now, we need to told the help part to say, how do we begin to help? Because if we don't create centers and systems and use professionals to help these people break, they will replicate
And I like
themselves.
the word you used earlier, the patient you had, you showed love.
That is the
Because some of them actually lacked that factor
It was
growing
love,
up.
It was love that drove them into, because they
Yes.
met an uncle who just told, and please, when parents tell their children about who a predator is not someone, it's not a stranger.
It's an
a
uncle.
predator is
It's
someone,
within your
in fact,
your
the
home.
definition, the new definition for predators that we give parents right now is anyone at all who gives you anything and tells you not to tell your parents.
Hey.
Because predators usually, they first swear your children to oath of secrecy. They give them money, don't show your parent. They give them ice cream, don't show your parent. In preparation for the day, they will demand on their sexuality. Because they would have groomed them on the act of secrecy. So anyone at all who gives you anything and says don't show your parent is a predator. Come and report. Because you now need to explain why you are giving my children money and you are telling them not to tell me if you actually meant well. And these guys are everywhere. They are uncles, they are in houses, religious houses.
And I think for parents, they need to show love. Be as
Absolutely.
in one bond with your children.
Absolutely.
Because the truth is that because we have the love nature. If they don't get love from the home, they will look for love anywhere.
Yeah.
So parents, show love to your children.
And I like to add to that, because don't say because when I grew up, my father was not. Now
My father was a hard
was a hard person. Listen.
Who did you become with the fathers?
With the
Who have you
hardness.
become?
So we need to actually
So
really
redefine the term of love, redefine it.
And
And
train-
Nigerians were very funny. What we cannot explain, we mystify it.
Absolutely.
So we need to redefine it for our children.
Just one last thing. As parents that we now know this, everybody watching, join the PTA, raise awareness within your children's school to know how to address
demand
the situation.
Demand for an NLP
child
counselor.
protection system. Demand for, insist on seeing the counselor.
Yes.
Ask him questions. Many people we call counselors in school are just advisors who don't know anything about anything.
They're
So
not
they themselves,
professionals.
they see, they freak out. When the counselor begins to freak out,
How will you help?
What do you now do when you see a bestiality, some bestiality tendency? What do you now do?
Hey, Jehovah.
And those guys are all around.
In
That's all
prayer,
we can
please,
see.
God will protect our children.
Amen.
That's all we can do. Thank you so much, Praise. I think we need a part 2 of this.
I agree.
We need a part two.
I
We
still
need
have
a part two.
questions. I have questions.
We need a part 2 on that. Praise, I have to bring you back to continue part 2. But
wahala.
thank you so much for coming. And you can also catch us on YouTube by going to YouTube/TV Entertainment. And please search for Your View. You can also watch us on Google Plus and also search for TVT Entertainment. Don't forget, the best cure for any type of cancer is early detection. Get tested today. Have you been tested recently, Oga?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, very good. All right. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.